The leaves are starting to fall. This is Sissy. She can't hear. She's 20 and a half years old. Yes, DACs make a difference with your audio system, and no two DACs, once you get past those $500 DACs, no two DACs that I've ever heard sound the same. Today I want to talk about an amazing DAC that gives you all those traits of those fancy DACs, is designed by a DAC legend, and comes in at a normal price. Let's take a look. Hey everyone, welcome back. I have a really interesting and quite all-out awesome product to talk about today. This is the Fezz Equinox Tube DAC. Now this DAC is very special, and the reason why is because it was designed by Lucas Ficus, the head honcho over at LAMPIZATOR. He designs all of the LAMPIZATOR DACs that cost in the tens of thousands of dollars. This DAC here is $29.95 and uses one 12AU7 vacuum tube to bring a bit of tube flavor to the sound of your system. It's based on the PCM 1794 chipsets, and Fezz has designed the custom transformer here through their own company, Toroidal. On the back, you have two Toslink inputs, a coaxial and a USB input. Let's talk about the Fezz Equinox Tube DAC, powered by LAMPIZATOR. So it's DAC time again. I love reviewing new DACs. It's been a while since I had a DAC come in here that I really liked. I think the last one was the Live Harmony Micro DAC, and that came in at just under $1,000. And the reason I like that DAC is because it had a full-bodied, warm kind of vibe, and that's what I was really digging at the time. I'm a guy who kind of likes a warm, humanistic, kind of organic kind of vibe to the music versus that lean, bleached gray sound. Now, the DAC I'm talking about today, made by Fezz in Poland, this comes from Poland, is very cool indeed. It has a nice chassis. It's in a nice enclosure. I have the matte black version here. When you turn it on, the Fezz logo lights up, and the power switch is actually on the bottom. That dial on the front is what chooses your input. Now you have USB, coaxial, you have Toslink, right? I've tested the coaxial and the USB, and I've been testing it actually with the brand new Eversolo T8 reference streaming transport. This is the transport Eversolo has just released. If you're using an external DAC, this is the way to go if you're looking at Eversolo. It's really a fantastic streamer and streams just about everything with a wonderful app. But I'll talk about that when I review the Eversolo just in a matter of days. But for now, this Fezz Equinox really impressed me for a few reasons. First of all, I'll tell you the reasons why. And we'll talk about the sound quality, because this DAC offers up a bit of a different sound quality than any that I've heard through here. And that's what's cool about this hobby. You can find products that may sound a little bit different, but bring so much enjoyment. I will just touch on this. The Fezz sound is kind of detailed and light up top in the treble, very airy, very holographic. The mid-range has that realism to it. It's not super throaty or chesty, right? But it's very real and detailed, where you can hear the cracks and even the age in someone's voice. And it has really nice bass performance down below. As a DAC, this is really one of the most three-dimensional holographic that I've heard in here, in the way it paints the soundstage. And I'll say paint because it kind of paints these instruments and sounds with a broader brush than some high-end DACs I've heard. And it paints it with a finer brush than, say, something like the Live Harmony. So first of all, I love this DAC because it's designed by a DAC genius over at LAMPIZATOR. Lucas designed this DAC, and he usually works on DACs that cost mega bucks. I remember I was looking at a LAMPIZATOR Horizon DAC. It was crazy, insanely expensive. No way I could afford it, so I was just streaming. But this Equinox by Fezz gives you some of that 80% of that LAMPIZATOR flavor, say, for $29.95. It's really cool. that this was done in collaboration with LAMPIZATOR, because in my opinion, and I've only reviewed 1 or 2 LAMPIZATOR DACs, but in my opinion, LAMPIZATOR makes some of the finest audio hi-fi DACs you can get today. They're just very expensive. So this gets you in the door and gets you that LAMPIZATOR kind of presentation. I love that it uses one tube, a 12AU7. I love that you just have to flick open that top plate, of course, when it's powered off, and you can easily swap the tube. I like the clean lines. I like that the Fezz logo lights up when you turn it on ever so gently. It's not like those big blue LEDs that pop out. So when you're listening in the dark, the Fezz logo is very low, very, very soft, but it looks really, really cool. Now, I've been testing this with a variety of speakers, a variety of amplifiers. Right now, it's hooked up to that Oil Lily 300B tube amp that I have been addicted to. I still can't believe how good this amp is for the price. And me, I have an American-made 300B amp on the way to compare to this budget Chinese-made but beautiful amp. So with the 300B, with the Eversolo T8 streaming transport, and say my Icon 12 speakers, which are my reference here, my big boys back there, they're in the corner because I'm listening to other speakers right now. The sound was, if I use, say, the Live Harmony DAC with this setup, with the Icon 12s, the sound is warm, rich, pulpy, full-bodied. It has heft to it, but the treble is also extended, but it's a little rolled off, right? Putting the Fezz Equinox in place of a DAC, say, such as that, everything becomes immediately more present, more airy, more detailed, more transparency, but it's not one of those thin, ooh, this sounds grating. No, it has a beautiful timbre and tone to it as well. This is one of the most impressive DACs that I've heard in a long, long time, and it's something that I would expect to be more in the $5,000 to $8,000 range. So I'm really happy that it's $29.95, and whether or not you can get a deal from your dealer, I do not know. But I do know it comes in several colors. You can custom order it in like burgundy, red, like green, forest green. I would love to have a forest green one because of all the trees we have here. But yeah, it seems like a really, really good value. So I really love that DAC. And with that tube amp and with that T8 and the Icon 12 speakers, I was no longer getting all the warmth. I was getting some warmth in the mid-range. The bass was tight, controlled, and beautiful. But I'm also hearing some of the 300B amp here. And that amp is a master at holographics and soundstage and depth, right? So combined, the Fezz kind of balances out the tube amp here. So what about if I put in something like the Galleon P75 and A75 combo, the power amp and the preamp? The preamp here uses tubes. Using the same Eversolo T8 streamer, which I'm really enjoying, by the way. Going into the Fezz, the sound sharpened up. The sound became more dynamic, more fast, kind of like lightning fast. And the dynamic range was really good as well. I was getting more force through the Icon 12s. Now, again, if I put in the Live Harmony, it was a warmer, thicker variety. Going to the Fezz, again, instantly, that presence hits me, and it's like a big wall of sound. Imagine you're painting on a canvas about the size of your room, or say, 12 feet by 12 feet. And you have all the instruments just masterfully separated, but yet the timbre and the tone of each instrument. Violins, beautiful. Piano, beautiful. Now, what if I go to other speakers? I tried these with the Bucard E50s, and honestly, this was the best I've heard the Bucard E50s with this combo of the Eversolo T8, the Galleon pre and power, and the Fezz Equinox DAC. It just seemed to make such a perfect pairing together. The speakers you see behind me are really, really interesting and also very special, but these are speakers that will not be for everyone. These are masters of the mid-range, and the manufacturer claims, I think there was somewhere I read, they claim this driver in here, this old revived Western Electric driver, the 755A, a lot of people say is the king of mid-range. With the Fezz DAC and the 300B tube amp back in, they sounded beautiful as long as I didn't play anything with deep bass. If you want deep bass, these will need a subwoofer. But what the Equinox did here in this situation was bring the amazing detail retrieval capabilities of these speakers, and it actually kind of tamed them down a little bit while making them the most three-dimensional experience I've ever had. What you see behind me with these Hyundai Sound TI 755A speakers, the 300B Oil Lily tube amp, the Eversolo T8, and the Fezz Equinox, it is insanely holographic. And that's partly due to these speakers. That's one of their specialties. They're so jaw-dropping good with vocals, with jazz, with acoustic instruments. And they fill the room with energy, with a dynamic range, again, from soft to loud being incredible. But if you listen to rock on these speakers, well, not very good. One thing I love about the Fezz DAC is that it's also dead quiet. I mean, I should say another thing I love about it, it's dead quiet. Fezz makes their own custom transformers, and as a matter of fact, I think it's Toroidal. They have their own company where they make their own transformers for all of their integrated amplifiers. So these transformers, at least the one here and the one in an amp I've been evaluating, are dead silent. No hum, no buzz, no vibration. That's my pet peeve of audio and amplifiers and hi-fi pieces. If they buzz or make a racket, I can't stand it, and I usually send it right back. I'm happy to say this is dead silent, so you're not going to get any of that annoying buzz. I remember when I reviewed a LAMPIZATOR DAC, was it the Amber 3? Am I right on that? If I'm wrong, don't yell at me, but I think it was the Amber 3. There was a little buzz from the transformer that started after a few weeks, but it was very slight. But here with the Fezz, because they make their own custom designed transformers, they're really doing a good job here, and they're very, very powerful, and they're very, very quiet. So this is a unique DAC. It's a cool DAC. It's priced right at $29.95. It's still expensive, but remember, there are DACs that go all the way up to $100,000, $150,000 for a DAC. And the goal that I like to go for is to find something that's in a much lower price point, but offers up a large heaping helping of what's in the more expensive DACs. This is one of those products. It offers all of the audiophile tricks and flavors and beauty that some may be looking for, like the holographic sound stage. The way they do the instrument separation is gorgeous. It offers a beautiful mid-range, but very, very realistic. It's not a full-bodied warm mid-range. It's more of a clean and clear, but with a soul, I'll say. The treble is very extended and airy, but it doesn't ever sound hard. There's no fatigue, I should say, with this DAC. The bass is excellent. It's not one of those that's going to artificially inflate the bottom end. I don't think DACs usually do that anyway, but it's very tight, controlled, and present. Again, you can hear the bass notes very cleanly and tightly. So this is one of my favorite DACs that I've had in here in a long, long time. And there have been a lot of DACs that I really, really loved. I remember the DCS Lena, but that's over what? That's over 10 grand. I remember the Chord Dave. That's well over 10 grand. I love that Live Harmony, but I like it because of its warm, beautiful nature that has some plumpness to it. When I want that extra oomph, right? That extra sit back in my chair with a glass of wine kind of vibe. But the Fezz, again, at just under $3,000. I think it's a great value. It's a high-end piece. It's made in Poland, where a lot of amazing hi-fi is coming from these days. And yeah, I can highly recommend this DAC. It's really, really cool. I didn't yet try to change the tubes out. And I have some tubes on the way from a couple of manufacturers to experiment with the tube amps and the Fezz DAC. That's about all I can say. 2 thumbs up. Highly recommend the Fezz Equinox DAC. I hope you liked this review. If you did, thumbs up and subscribe. I will have another video early next week. I'm posting this either on a Thursday or Friday. I haven't decided when I'm posting it yet, but within a few days, I should have another video up. And upcoming reviews are the Eversolo T8, the speakers you see behind me, the TI-755As. I have another amplifier integrated, two more tube-based integrated amplifiers I'm working on as well. There's some new speakers on the way right now that are very, very interesting. The cabinet is 3D printed, so that's going to be something to test out. Yeah, I have a ton of stuff on the way. So if you subscribe and hit the notification bell, you will be notified when the next video hits right here. I love you all. I thank you all. I will see you guys very soon. Bye.